Welcome to day 9 of our 31-day series studying the moral and practical advice found in the book of Proverbs intended to help us live virtuous and meaningful lives. Let's start by reading today's passage, and then take a closer look at the message. Wisdom has built her house, she has set up its 7 pillars. She has prepared her meat and mixed her wine, she has also set her table. She has sent out her servants, and she calls from the highest point of the city, let all who are simple come to my house. To those who have no sense she says, come, eat my food and drink the wine I have mixed. Leave your simple ways and you will live, walk in the way of insight. Whoever corrects a mocker invites insults, whoever rebukes the wicked incurs abuse. Do not rebuke mockers or they will hate you, rebuke the wise and they will love you. Instruct the wise and they will be wiser still, teach the righteous and they will add to their learning. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and knowledge of the Holy One is understanding. For through wisdom your days will be many, and years will be added to your life. If you are wise, your wisdom will reward you. If you are a mocker, you alone will suffer. Folly is an unruly woman, she is simple and knows nothing. She sits at the door of her house, on a seat at the highest point of the city, calling out to those who pass by, who go straight on their way, let all who are simple come to my house. To those who have no sense she says, stolen water is sweet, food eaten in secret is delicious. But little do they know that the dead are there, that her guests are deep in the realm of the dead. As we continue our study about wisdom, Proverbs chapter 9 takes a deeper dive and emphasizes that each of us has a choice when it comes to wisdom. We can either choose wisdom in our actions or we can choose folly. To help us understand this, Proverbs chapter 9 personifies wisdom and folly as two different women, each offering a different path to those who will listen and choose to follow them. First, we learn that both wisdom and folly are calling to us. Proverbs chapter 9 verse 4 says, wisdom has built her house, she has set up its 7 pillars. Similarly, Proverbs chapter 9 verse 13 says, folly is loud, she is undisciplined and without knowledge. Both wisdom and folly are actively seeking out those who will listen to them in order to lure them down a path that leads to them. Also, we learn about the destination for each of the two possible paths that we can take when following either wisdom or folly. Here we learn that wisdom leads to life, while folly leads to death. Proverbs chapter 9 verse 6 says, leave your simple ways behind, and begin to live, learn to use good judgment. On the other hand, Proverbs chapter 9 verse 18 says, but the one who lacks judgment will eat the fruit of their way and be filled with the fruit of their schemes. We have the choice to follow wisdom, which leads to life and good judgment, or to follow folly, which leads to death and destruction. Furthermore, it is comforting to know that wisdom is available to all who seek it. Proverbs chapter 9 verse 10 says, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and knowledge of the Holy One is understanding. We can all choose to seek wisdom by fearing and respecting God, and by seeking to understand His ways. We must also be cautious because folly is an easy path to go down and following the path of wisdom requires effort. Proverbs chapter 9 verse 16 says, but the one who lacks judgment is easy prey. Clearly, folly is easy to fall into. If we want to follow wisdom, we must set aside our own desires, seek God's ways, and discipline ourselves to behave righteously. So how can we acquire the wisdom of Proverbs chapter 9? We are told that wisdom can be found by those who seek her diligently. In Proverbs chapter 9 verse 4, we are told that to you, O men, I call, and my voice is to the sons of man. This tells us that wisdom is calling out to us and inviting us to seek her. One way to cultivate this relationship with wisdom is through prayer and meditation. In Proverbs chapter 9 verse 17, we are told that stolen water is sweet, and bread eaten in secret is pleasant. This tells us that wisdom is something that we must seek in secret and in solitude. We must be willing to spend time alone with God, seeking His wisdom and guidance. Another way to cultivate a relationship with wisdom is through the study of Scripture. In Proverbs chapter 9 verse 9, we are told that give instruction to a wise man, and he will be still wiser, teach a righteous man, and he will increase in learning. This tells us that the study of Scripture is essential to acquiring wisdom. We must be willing to seek out and learn from those who are wise and righteous. In conclusion, Proverbs chapter 9 teaches us that wisdom and folly are both calling to us and that we have the choice to follow one or the other. Wisdom leads to life and good judgment, while folly leads to death and destruction. May we choose to seek wisdom and to follow its guidance, so that we may live lives that are pleasing to God. I hope you had a good spiritual workout. If you like this content, please consider liking and subscribing to our channel.